Elevate your new week, fuel your success. SSM invites you to kickstart each weekday with our news update Between the Lines, featuring the week's top news and analysis and the most attention-grabbing lines, deciphering world events. Hook up to SSM Monday program Between the Lines. In a world where news flies around every minute, you need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Schengen Story Media News Echoes program is Africans in Diaspora and at Home's leading English news network, one of the most trusted, respected sources for news updates on current affairs as they affect global Africa.
Current affairs as it affects global Africa. You're welcome to another edition of that current affairs. We're here, George from Toronto, Canada, Olayinka Raji, and myself, my Godwin Iwejo from Milan. Raji, how are you today? Week starts, first day of the month.
I'm very, very well. In fact, I woke up this morning with so much enthusiasm. A new week, a new month. This is a month of what they say 9 is month of completion or month of renewal. Yes.
Nice.
I feel really refreshed. The weather is cool. All is well.
Raji, you broke that one very well. Now, month of completion, 9. 9 is the month of completion. Let's talk about 9. Let's talk about completion. Somehow our God created 9 to be the month when a mother carries a baby in her belly for 9 months. So it's not a fluke that we have 9 as that period of time when the human baby is formed and delivered. George, you're welcome, George. George, month of completion. It's good to see you.
Yes. It's a pleasure to be here. Just want to thank all the viewers for joining us today on Monday Between the Lines. My name is George Chukwuodiwe from Canada. Greeting everybody. And
nice.
Yes, number 9. Number 9. Number 9.
Number 9. That was what Raji said.
It's a good number. It's a good number. It's a number. You know, humans are carried in the womb for 9 months. It's actually number of testing. You know, 9.
Okay.
Very good number.
9.
So,
9.
So
yes, because like Raji was trying to say, Raji said something. The number 9 is not an ordinary. I mean, there's something symbolical about 9. Is that what, Raji?
Yes. In numerology, 9. 8 is
number of new beginnings.
Number for new beginning. 9 is
7 is the number of completion. 6 is the number of man. 5 is the number of grace. Yes, go ahead.
9. Okay, so tell me what 9 is. Maybe I'm mixing it up. 9 is Sir George.
9 is the completion now. That's that time.
9 is
gives birth.
Yeah. 10 is the number of government.
Okay.
There's a number for government. I didn't know that one. So, anyway, happy new month.
Yeah, like I said before, today is Monday, first day of the week. It's also the first day of the month. I woke up feeling quite refreshed. Yes.
Nice.
And I woke up with enthusiasm. And I'm facing this new month with a great enthusiasm.
It's a great one.
It's definite that there'll be a lot of good things happening this month.
Amen. Oh man! So Raji climbs the pulpit, George. You see, just showed us what he has inside there.
He's a closet Christian. He's a closet Christian. Leave him alone. Because every time you see me, he's quoting the Bible all the time.
Nice. All right, guys, you're welcome. So happy new month once again, viewers. Happy new month to you, man. Yeah. Let's start with some catch-up news. This morning we woke up to hear Afghanistan having an earthquake that has killed 800 and something people so far, and The earthquake is still running. They said more people are injured, about 2,900 people injured. And in fact, things are still happening right there at that part of the world. Gentlemen, what do you have on this Afghanistan earthquake?
It is a very sad, sad situation to wake up in the morning, to see such the magnitude of a shallow 6.0 magnitude earthquake has struck eastern Afghanistan. The officials are saying that it's killed more than 800 people and injured about 2,800 actually. And the quake completely destroyed several villages overnight, and the toll is expected to rise. So rescue teams are now on the ground, desperately searching for survivors in the rubble. And then the Afghanistan government, I think it's Taliban, they are pleading for international help to help them to, kind of, bring a little bit of help and closure to this. It's such a bad natural disaster, that nobody ever wants to be involved in such, because it's like, you don't know when it's gonna come, and when it comes, it's just like it just devastates everything, destroys homes and all kinds of things. Roads are closed, so it's a sad one. It's a sad one indeed. Condolences to the families that lost their loved ones, that are still alive.
Thank you, George, for that update. Raji, having it in mind that the Taliban runs the government in that part of the world, and we know they were once labeled as a terrorist group, but now they run the affairs of the country. Do you think aid will come? Do you think people will run, organizations, United Nations, America will come to their aid with the label they've tagged on that government?
Most times when one group labels another group terrorists, it's funny to me. One man's terrorist, the other man's freedom fighter. Those Taliban were fighting for the Americans to leave their territories. So, throughout history, so many empires have tried to overcome Afghanistan, and in all their cases, they have failed. From Hannibal to the Russians to the Americans, they have failed. And when you look at Afghanistan, you can hardly find anything that will attract people to go and invade that place. And yet, America spent trillions trying to invade that place, probably to take control of the opium trade. I'm sure, yes, there are still very, very sympathetic human beings around. And I'm sure, regardless of whatever tag they have been given before, the help will come for them. Because
yes,
humans,
indeed.
they are all humans.
Lives. Yeah, these are human lives. So George said more than, as at this morning, it was 812 deaths and over 2,817 injured. But obviously the numbers will climb. Gentlemen, when these things happen, now we see that nature, man cannot stand against some natural forces. George, I mean, we've not been able to hold down tremors and earthquakes and hurricanes, and this shows how powerful nature is. Is that not so, George?
Well, man has always wanted to be God, and man is God to a degree, but not deity. So man is not Almighty God, but we are created in the image of God. But one thing is that anybody that is in authority must also submit to authority. And the authority of mankind must go to God himself. So that's one of the major issues here. Every now and again, you see these natural disasters that are taking place left, right, and center, and humans are incapable of dealing with such magnitude of problems, like rains that can swallow entire village, or these holes that can open up and swallow cars and everything. So these are natural disasters. But to be honest with you, it's been said that most of the time, some of the people that dwell in certain areas, that what is really happening when sin increases, these natural disasters are bound to happen. But I'm not quite sure if Afghanistan, who were hit by this particular earthquake, is because of them beings, that is sin that is causing it. But they call it
Well,
the act of God. But
yeah,
actually, I
yeah.
don't think the act it's not the act of God. God is a good God. God doesn't go around killing people, destroying his own creation. He loves his creation. Even the Muslims will agree with us on that one.
Yeah, yes. Actually, the thing there is that some of these countries are in that epic center of those tremor and those shake. Kabul, Islamabad, these countries also I have some of those. They're in that richer scale zone of some of these natural disaster. Raji,
Yes.
this is quite the deadliest quake we've seen in that part of the world. And the numbers will increase. Do you think that it will bring in some different views to how people live in that place, to leadership, to the Taliban also probably reconsidering other ways of operating? Do you think those kind of things can happen?
I do not agree with George that sin is what's causing all those earthquakes. Otherwise, America should have been destroyed by now, because America is a country
Okay,
of sin.
okay,
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
okay. Okay.
But is it we in Africa should count ourselves very, very lucky and really, really blessed that we don't have all this kind of natural disasters happening so frequently. Most of the natural disasters, which we term natural disasters that's happening in Africa, are almost all um, due to man's inability to take care of his environment. Otherwise, we won't have so many flash floods. But we don't have any natural disasters that is troubling us. Maybe that's why we are also tend to be so laid back, because we don't have so many challenges in Africa. But we are blessed indeed. We are blessed and we are saved from all this, because in, facing all these natural disasters shows you how frail man is.
How frail man is. Viewers,
Yes.
you're tuning to the 1st of September, Between the Lines, SSM with George and Raji here. Yes. All right, gentlemen. I think that's okay. We'll be monitoring, George, we'll be monitoring more of that occurrence from that part of the world,
Yeah,
Afghanistan.
definitely.
Next week. Let's come to something very serious, something we would have actually had this discussion earlier. During those times, it was really intense. We know that company, Dangote. We know Dangote Group. We know what it's doing, helping people and the production of goods and services. But somehow, the Dangote utility vehicles, the trucks, the van, and some of these things that put into work for the Dangote Group. Sometimes we've had a lot of cases where they recklessly conduct themselves and hurt people, kill people. Now we have Ruth Otabo, young lady that just graduated from Auchi Polytechnic in Edo State, was caught up in an accident with the Dangote Dangote Group vehicle. Now, Ruth Otabo yesterday passed away, sadly. She's the sister to a one-time Big Brother Nigeria season winner, Fina. And it's a sad thing that has happened to this family. Gentlemen, let's talk about Roots and Dangote's vehicles, Dangote's trailers. Let me start with Raji. Raji,
Yes.
it has come to us a lot of time here, the havoc that these vehicles cause in Nigeria. Is that true?
Mm.
They drive
But
recklessly.
you see, there was a time I was wondering why, as a businessman, Dangote should have so many vehicles instead of probably negotiating with the Nigerian government and for him to be given maybe the railway lines to transport his goods, which have been much better for him, which have been safer for us, which have also brought some funding to the government and saved Dangote a lot of money. Because Dangote had, I'm sure he has more than probably close to 100,000 vehicles, trucks, and things going all over the country. And at a point, their recklessness was worse than earthquakes, natural disasters in some areas, because they were so reckless, and so many people have died from it. Since 2017, I'm sure I read somewhere where more than 200 people have been killed by Dangote vehicles. The recent one concerning the young lady was getting too much negative publicity for Dangote. And I think Dangote should do something about it. To do something about the recklessness of his drivers. Maybe their drivers are not paid well, or maybe they are not well trained to conduct themselves while driving such vehicles, and they disobey traffic laws, and they drive as if they are above the law. Something has to be done.
Yes, something has to be done. Viewers, we're talking about Ruth Otabo. The picture you see on the screen is the sister to a Big Brother Niger winner, Fina. The Ruth passed away as a result of leg amputation after being hit by a truck linked to the Dangote Group somewhere in Auchi Polytechnic in South Nigeria. So George, very sad, it's sad indeed.
It is
now,
indeed a sad situation. Yeah, I mean, listen. We have Nigeria. We have Nigerian government. You have people working for Nigerian government. You know, I don't think that any blame goes to Dangote as a group, as a company, because Dangote has been helping thousands of young people that graduated, and then they're using these trucks. They will drive for so many years, you know, leads to own type of a situation where after so many years they can now be on their own and they begin to make money out of this. So now, because you are a company and then you are helping people or even employing people, does not mean that you control what they do. You can mandate. There's company have their own mandates. They have the ways of modus operandi, you know, rules of engagement. But yet you can find people who might decide to drink or smoke while they're driving. That does not it reflects on the company as a whole, but you cannot really blame the company as a whole. Dangote already, you know, the family is grieving, and then they ask for, you know, for privacy as they mourn their loss. Dangote Group also, who own the truck, has acknowledged the incident. The company has pledged the full support, covering medical costs and promising compensation to this particular family. So, which is what a company is supposed to do. They're not arguing about being, you know, that their vehicle was involved in this. So, but you know, I mean, it's kind of sad that this thing should happen, but let's put focus where it's supposed to be and blame where it's supposed to be. It's an individual thing. I can occupy an office and decide to be a fool. I'm decided to be a stupid person, acting on my own way that will reflect on the company negatively. But that doesn't mean that the company is irrelevant or the company is, you know, they are responsible because the vehicle belongs to them. But the individual is the one to be charged with this reckless driving that caused death. So that's
all
what.
right, George. Your point is clear. Your own view. But sorry, let me come in, Raji. But normally, a company like that big conglomerate, big company, you could have these trailers. Raji said something that was very pivotal. He said, "Why not use the rail track, to move some of these goods?" Which is a very good idea too. Then I'm saying these trailers and the drivers could be going through a process of tests. You don't just come, like you said, young men out of school, they give them trailer to drive. I mean,
They do test them. They do test them. You have to qualify to be a driver. You don't just become a driver. You go through the test, and when you are qualified and then certified, then a truck is given to you. You go through rigorous training. I've looked into this. Remember when the finery was being built in Lagos? I was there. I did interviews with a lot of workers there, and even this particular situation came up during that interview. But Dangote have a strict rule, and they do have a rigorous training for their drivers. But that does not determine a person who was well trained, who did not sleep because the wife could not allow them to sleep, or maybe something happened, they did not sleep or whatever, and they decide to get into drugs. They can get into that. Any good person can become a bad person tomorrow. So, that's what I'm saying. That the company itself is responsible. No, the company itself is very responsible. They've admitted fault, and they are promising to compensate this family. I don't know what else we can do. No, think about it for a moment. It's
before the lady died, yes, there were discussions between the family and Dangote about compensations and things, about taking care. I think the lady might have had children or so, about taking care of the children and all those things. It is unfortunate that the lady eventually died. And I'm not saying that Dangote is responsible. They are responsible. It's a very responsible company,
as a company,
and they have been doing very good. Yes, but you see, as a company, you have vicarious responsibility over your employees.
Also, gentlemen,
can I say something? Can I say something?
Okay, say something, George.
This is also very, very important. I mean, what I'm trying to say is, I know they are responsible and they care for their workers and all that, and the man is helping. When you talk about using rail to transport their goods, every company must do whatever they engage in. The benefit must exceed the cost. To them, possibly having the logistics of using some of their goods being transported to through railway isn't going to involve additional cost for them. After paying that, then they're going to have to possibly use their trucks to pick up these goods to take it to the final destination. So to them, they might have already tried it, or see that it's more effective and more cost effective for them to be using their own trucks to transport these goods rather than using the railway. Railway, yes, might be good for other people, but yet, indeed, remember that the goods that they sell goes to all parts of Nigeria. And remember also that not the railway goes to most of these places. So you have to think about that.
Let me add this. As part of our discussion, we should also see how government planning of railway lines is so deficient, in that instead of focusing on how much money they can make transporting heavy goods and then using trucks for the last mile, the government built railway lines where there's hardly any traffic, any people to even use the
Can you imagine that's an error? That's why I'm trying to get the former Minister of Transport, Amechi, to come speak to Nigerians in diaspora on that last project of train, the rail routing. The rail routes were very, very wrong. I mean, it wasn't of significant economic significance to our country. Gentlemen, let me also add that as much as George, you're saying Dangote is efficient, is a big company, which we all know. What about Dangote sitting with the Ministry of Road and Construction, Ministry of Road, and look into, he could start what we've never had in Nigeria, in building special road tracks, road line for trailers, instead of trailers running the same line with small vehicles. Because like here in Europe, there are special, I mean, George, you know about that. There are special tracks for heavy duty vehicles, and they have their own line, they have their own passage. So Dangote could initiate this. He could come sit with the Minister of Road and Construction, and let's see how this becomes a new norm, a new thing in Nigeria with our road construction.
You know, Sir Mark, you know that there was a time where trailers were not moving during the day.
Okay.
They move only in the evening when
Okay.
when traffic is much lower. So they have freeways, and there were hardly any accidents that
You could
on the roads. You
experience.
know, yes,
Okay. So yes, so many things. That could be an option too. Added to the trailer, to the train movement, which I also agree, Raji, that beautiful idea you
yeah,
brought. So, but this could be a point calling the Minister of Road to look into building special road lines for trailers and heavy duty vehicles instead of having everybody move on the same line. I mean, the number of deaths, like you said earlier, George and Raji, that's too much.
yeah,
I mean, and these are lives just dying for nothing. It's not like it's just movement and people trying to move. Somebody's walking on the road, a trailer comes, bam, you know. I mean, we could do better than this. It's time to think out of the
it's not as
box
if
with
it's not, Sir
reasoning.
Mark, it's not as if it's a daily occurrence. This one was
Okay.
very bad. Yeah, it's not a daily occurrence. In fact, road accidents involving trailers have reduced a lot.
But this
So this,
afternoon, we were seeing on the Lagos Ibadan Express Road, a trailer that has also broken down, and the
yes,
parts, the road broken. You could
has
see
blocked.
the penetration on the bridge. You could see the other end, the other side of the bridge. I mean,
Yes. Mm.
it's okay. Thank you, gentlemen. George, you were saying something again?
No, no,
Were
no.
you?
When you think
Mhm,
about that,
mhm,
Dangote going to sit down, with
mhm,
the Minister of Transportation to decide, whether they're going to build special roads for, actually, when you are building roads, there are parts
mhm,
of the road that is meant for trucks, and those
mhm,
areas are built specially, just
mhm,
for heavy duty trucks. And other
mhm,
areas, like here in Canada, there are places where, there's certain roads on the highways where
mhm.
trucks are, going to be using certain areas. And
Areas.
locally, there are areas where trucks do not travel. They can't enter
Go,
into
yeah.
those areas
Mhm,
because of how light the quota
I,
is.
I,
So what I'm saying, if
this,
mhm,
you compare the
yeah,
number of trucks that are in Nigeria to what
mhm.
Dangote owns, I think it's less than, maybe 1 or 2%. So for him to, start going into that
no,
could be another issue. Now, well, if you saying after the refinery that he could actually get into the railway business where they can begin to reconstruct and make money through it, or in collaboration with the government, I can understand that. But you have to understand this is one individual, one corporation that is doing greater things for Nigeria, and I know that the government has helped them tremendously, a lot.
Yeah, but George, Raji might know this. Some families here in the West, in America, Europe, started this road business, and it's working. So, Dangote could initiate it. That's what I'm saying. The Rockefeller family, for example, started. Were one of some of the brains behind the train line. You know, and that was because they were into heavy duty, heavy production, heavy manufacturing then. So they thought about that means of carriage. And so many roads also I had here in the West are owned by individuals and cooperatives and agents,
We
companies.
have it here in
So,
Canada. We have
so
toll roads
Dangote,
yes,
where people
Dangote
can
could,
pay tolls in order to
mhm,
collect,
mm,
money
yeah,
for.
yeah,
Yes.
yes.
yeah.
But the
So he
only
could
problem,
initiate that.
the only
So,
Okay.
the difference between
I,
Nigeria and this place is this. Now here,
is a
they
planning.
can use your plates. Once you pass
Mhm,
through those roads, there is no stopping. The cameras will
mhm,
take pictures, charge you, and send it to your home. But that will not work in Nigeria. That's another area. So what you will
mhm,
see in Nigeria is they will have toll gates where people will
mhm.
stop, you pay, and that could cause another, delays and traffic on the highways. So that's the only problem there.
All right,
Initially,
gentlemen. Let's-
initially on the Lagos Ibadan Expressway, before you enter that expressway, there's a way bridge by the side
Mhm,
as you enter. If your weight exceeds what is permissible on that road,
Mhm.
you will not be allowed to. You will have to take off some of the load. But as it is today, all those way bridges are no more working. They have been disabled. So all manner of weight go on the expressway and then destroy the expressway before.
Nigeria has happened to them.
Let's also send our condolences to that family, the Otebo family, and everybody concerned. Our condolences to them all. We hope the solution will be found into these traffic heavy duty vehicles moving and injuring, killing people. So, gentlemen, thank you very much. So that's the picture again of the beautiful girl. Sadly, she has passed on. Sadly. So let's take a small break, moment of silence too, and we'll be back. Thank you.
In a world where news flies around every minute, you need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Schengen Story Media News Echoes program is Africans in Diaspora and at Home's leading English news network, one of the most trusted, respected sources for news updates on current affairs as they affect global Africa. Elevate your new week, fuel your success. SSM invites you to kickstart each weekday with our news update Between the Lines, featuring the week's top news and analysis and the most attention-grabbing lines, deciphering world events. Hook up to SSM Monday program Between the Lines.
All right, viewers, you're welcome. Between the Lines, I'm here, Milan, and Raji is there in Lagos. George is there in Toronto, Canada. Gentlemen, another occurrence this morning, the Finnish government. George used to talk about the Finnish people and that young man called Simon Epa. The Finnish government court today sentenced Simon Epa on some terrorism charges. Now we're still following that story up because he could also the verdict is not final, so he could also appeal to a higher court. George, what's happening with your brother Simon Epa? What's the news there?
I'm not quite sure that I can claim that one. I cannot claim him as a brother. You know, he's an enemy. He's an enemy. Simon Epa, the Nigerian Finnish separatist leader, has been sentenced to 6 years in prison by the Finnish court. Now, he was found guilty of terrorism offenses, including leading a terrorist group and inciting violence through his social media posts. The charges are linked to his role in the movement for an independent Biafra in Nigeria. The court said he helped equip armed groups with weapons and explosives. He denied all charges, but he was found guilty. And I'm hoping that he will spend 6 years definitely in jail, because I was hoping that he would get at least 20 years. Yeah, and then he needs to be disbarred because of he actually, what he contributed to the death of young people and people in Nigeria is so enormous that this guy ought to get life sentence. Because he deliberately, intentionally, and purposefully did what he did. I'm bragging about it. So that guy ought to have a life sentence, disbarred, and ensure that he never have enjoy any kind of freedom again. Because these are things that when people are intentional in what they do, knowing the wrongs about it, and in continue to do it for self, gain and all that type of stuff, they need to be punished to the core. And I believe that after his sentence in America, or in Finland, that he ought to come to Nigeria and face charges too. Honestly.
Okay. Raji, yes.
What if he sent?
Go ahead.
What if he sent over to Kirikiri to serve his sentence? Wouldn't that be nice?
That would be great. With hard labor. if he ever comes out, he will come out knowing that there are limits to certain things you can do, and especially when you are inflicting pain and shedding blood just because you want to become something that you are not. This is really, really an appalling situation that this man ought not to enjoy any freedom anymore, because a lot of blood flowing through the roads are simply because of his narratives and the nonsense that he did. Honestly speaking,
George, hear this. The man is not new to the things of leadership. He was one time a councillor in that Finnish city.
it doesn't matter.
Now what we're hearing is that this court that sentenced him is not the high court, so he could appeal, and if he appeals, like we heard, he's going to bring some other issues out. He denies all the charges in the court. He says it's not true. What they said he did is all allegations, and what the court is holding, George, is also not much of the terrorism case, but the tax fraud they say that he has against him in that city of Finland. So it's not ended. We're still watching. Anything could happen because this man they could want to consider him, being that he was one time a councillor.
No, as a matter of fact, that ought to be the reason why they ought to punish him more, because he ought to know better. Just because you're a councillor or a government representative, he holds you too much. To him, much is given, much is also required. He ought to have known better than to be in Finland, become a councillor or whatever he was then, and to begin to expose himself to such terrorist acts. And I mean, you saw what he was doing. It was plain. He was actually just instigating a lot of riotous situations in Igbo land. And so even being a former councillor ought to have help the court to sentence him to more harsher punishment than what they gave him, honestly speaking.
Okay.
I agree with Sir George. Okay. I agree with Sir George, yes. That he should have known better than to incite.
And he does. He knows better.
Yes.
But it's pride and money that is the foundation of the influence that influenced him to continue doing what he did. Nigerian government must insist that after his sentence, they need to bring him back to Nigeria to face charges.
Okay. The other thing is that the Biafra organization they have in the southeast have distanced themselves from him. They say he wasn't representing anything Biafra. It's the IPOB one, the IPOB side of it, the separatist movement called IPOB. Anyway, George, this adds up to why the Southeast needs to be looked into seriously. We have all these people running around, these gun runners, all these young men that don't really understand what it takes. They don't even understand what it takes to make a country, talk less of agitating for a country. What it takes to make an organization, talk less of agitating for a country. Yeah, go ahead, George.
Frankly speaking, Igbos ought to be ashamed of themselves. I'm very serious, because there are some intolerable situations that we need to rise up as an Igbo nation and come against. And we have tolerated this nonsense for so many years, allowing a handful of idiots that don't know their left from their rights, coming up to control the whole nation. In Igbo land up until today, do you know that today there is sit at home still taking place? And it was because of this idiot, this foolish boy that called himself Simon Ekpa. Honestly speaking, but we ought to be ashamed of ourselves to allow such just so low individuals to control the whole entire nation. Why are we still having
they will come and make
up until today? Why?
And they will stand up, they will rise and make themselves look like gods, as if we appointed them. And nobody will, everybody will be afraid of even challenging them. Raji,
Can I say something? Think about it. A group of idiots also recently just came to announce on behalf of Ohanes Ndibo talking about, oh, that no Igbo man will stand against Tinubu. And these individuals are not even members of Ohanese. These are the things that are being tolerated in our Igbo land. That is intolerable. And we need to rise up and say, thus far, no further. Don't cross this line, because if you cross it, we will crush you as a Igbo nation. It ought not to happen. They will not go and do this in Yoruba land. They will just trust them immediately. They can do that. Yeah.
Yes,
That's also
it
because
was. Go down, go, Raji. Go ahead.
that's also because the Igbo group pride themselves as being independent enclaves, and therefore there's no sometimes more often than not there's no clear leadership leader in the Igbo yes in the Igbo group.
No,
We
because
are having the same. Yeah,
Igbo's government is
Very good.
Republican in nature. This is something that is inherent with us.
Okay.
You don't have, they say that Igbos have no leaders. And that is simply because in decision making in Igbo land, the leadership cannot, one individual can come and make an authoritative decision. You have to go through the Ohanese, you have to go through the Inze, the chiefs, and decision will be made through voting system. Igbo system of government is so unique, and we didn't inherit it, from any modern governmental system. It is something that is inherent with us. So it is a
Yes.
different type of leadership. You go to Yoruba
But,
land, you have the leaders, Bini, Edo.
mhm,
They have their chiefs that rule the whole entire nation. You have Oni of Ife, you have Oni of this, and these are the things. It's quite different from Igbo land. In Igbo land, if you come across
it's
somebody,
quite different. George is quite different, but it's doing more havoc to the
that's
religion than good.
that you know
Um,
why? You
and
know why? You know
mhm,
why? The
okay,
reason is we have watered down our own system. We watered it down. Nobody
okay,
watered it down for us. We watered it down. And that is
okay.
the
So
reason why it's happening.
yeah, so well, is it not time for us to understand the power in having a central authority where people respect and that gives that ultimate is decisions, and they stand by it like it happens in the Southwest. So viewers are joining us. Viewers, we're talking about the young man called Simon Epa, and with the sentencing they've done on terrorism charges on him. But the thing, as we heard also, is that this is not the higher court. So the verdict is not finalized yet. So it means he could also go and appeal to a higher court. But so far, there's a 6 years sentencing on him that was done today. Added to that, terrorism charge were also aggravated tax fraud that they say he was involved in. So thank you, George. The discussion on the Southeast continues, George. We'll be having more program on this, so that because it's really sad. The region has been messed up. You have all these gun runners. Everybody's just doing anything, and they've polluted the land. The land is spoiled. Blood, innocent blood flowing. Young ladies raped, killed, children killed, mothers. Oh boy. Okay, thank you very much again. Viewers, you are tuned into SSM, Monday, the 1st of September 2025. Yes, George and Raji, let's come to on other issues. It sounds funny, but it's something that they are really looking at. That is the Niger State Governor. Niger is right there. Yeah, George. I think that's the guy, the Baguru. This morning he dissolved all his cabinets. He retained just the SSG
I'll
and
call you
the
back. I'll call you back.
US.
I'll call you back.
Yes. Okay, George is on something else. So, Raji, did you had the news? Bagu.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yes.
Yeah, tell us what how is it going?
Well, the government has the power. The governor has the power to dissolve his cabinet at any time because he's the only one who was elected. All the other ones were appointed. So,
Okay.
and if he sees fit that maybe they are not pulling pulling out their weight, is up to him to let them go and appoint more people whom he believe will do better. Yes.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
he's
So,
been on the news lately. He was here in Canada last year, and he kind of showcased a very proactive and capable leadership style when he was here. And what he was talking about in regards to Niger or Niger State was very,
Yeah.
very good. And so he had a lot of plans. I mean,
okay.
as much as he retained he retained a core team, including the Secretary of the State of Government and Chief of Staff. So he's wanting to bring a new chapter. I hope, because he's been on the news lately, and some of the things that we're hearing about him, has not been good at all. So now, when you think about that, and then he becoming very authoritative, and this is a very enlightened individual, very, very enlightened. When you talk to him in person, when you interview him, you see how exposed and enlightened he is. So I'm just hoping that it's not as a result of some of the squabbles he's had in the recent times, when he wanted to do certain things and they're trying to stop him, the decisions he wants to make. So I'm just hoping that's not the case. Yes, he has the authority to let go his appointees and then appoint others, but I'm just hoping that it is for the good, rather than eventually coming to find out that it's because they're trying to stop him from what he's trying to do in regards to his authoritative moves. He stopped a
Okay.
media group recently, which he was not
Yes.
supposed to. Which is some of the things that we need to look into later.
All right. Thank you, George. The other thing is that when a governor acts like this, somehow Raji is exhibiting some extreme power. I mean, this shows that he's like the god in the city, in that state. So how do you see this in future, where the governor just dissolves cabinet? No reason was given. We were trying to really look out for reasons, but it didn't see much reason. It didn't specify. Raji, do you think we know the constitution allows it, but I mean, how do you just do this?
There's a dictator in all of us.
Okay.
And it's only, yes. So whenever a person is given power, it is the enlightened man who has power and is very, very cautious about how to wield the power, because every power is transient. But most people, when they are in power, they forget that power is transient, and they wield it as much as they want until their last day in office. Then they realize that, maybe they shouldn't have done so many other things. But he has been in the news lately for so many things, especially when there were those terrorists around Kanji area, which is actually in his state. Yes, but I think he probably has a new lease of life and is trying to pop things out. I hope the replacements he's bringing in will be better people than he had before.
Are there better officials than before? Okay, viewers, that's it. The governor of Niger State, Bago, dissolves his cabinet, but retains his SSG and his CSOS. Let's hope that doesn't bring up some other issues as we go by. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Let me just do this small news that happened not too far from me here. Swiss, you all know Switzerland. It's been known to be Europe's most peaceful, stable country.
Yes.
It has those beautiful landmarks, beautiful scenery. But during the weekend, something happened. Now there are so many places that have been destroyed, riots all over most parts of the major cities of Switzerland, because a young man, called a 17-year-old young boy that says he's a rapper, died as a result of running from the cops. I think there's a clip on. Anyway, sorry for that. That just jammed in. That's the boy's mother. The boy was killed. He stole a bike, a motorbike, and while being chased by the police, he hit somewhere and died. So this has sparked riot in Swedes. Most parts of Swedes has been in glooming with this boy's death, and this brings up the issue of these young people nowadays and people spontaneously reacting with riots, destroying property, public property, going ahead doing things all crazy because of something that also wasn't of normal reasoning. Raji, and this is happening here in Sweden, that beautiful country.
When things are too peaceful in a place, life becomes boring. Therefore, there's a need to bring in some excitement.
Shake everywhere.
Yes, because Switzerland is too peaceful, and the human
And
mind
that's not
requires
attractive.
the human being requires some agitation once in a while.
Agitation. Wow.
If there's too the life becomes too boring.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
Yes.
Oh
My
my
condolences to the young man and the family.
Okay. Anyway, let's George. George, I want to put
Listen,
yeah. You want to say something? Go ahead.
yeah,
You want to say-
the problem in a 70-year-old teen, he was
Mhm.
an influencer actually.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
the question is, what are we training our children like these days?
Mhm.
These millennials and Gen Zs and Gen Ys,
Mhm.
they just do things. It's of no consequence. You see it
Mhm.
happening in Canada here. 16 years old, 15 years old, they're carrying knives, they're carrying guns, they're hijacking cars, taking cars from people, going into houses and robbing. And most of them are underage. And I'm advocating in Canada that this 17, that because you have to be 18 before you're called an adult. But if you
Mhm.
act in a way like where adults are supposed to be and commit a crime in certain ways, especially with guns or beginning to cause unrest, you ought to be charged as an adult. So we see that the police, the police was under scrutiny. Actually, the incident occurs amid a scandal over the racist and discriminatory messages found in private police WhatsApp groups, leading to
Mhm.
several suspensions. So this is what they were facing, and possibly that's what actually brought about this rioting. Because how can you blame the police when a young man goes and steals something and is running away and kills himself? It's not the police fault.
Mhm.
It's not the
That's
police
not the
fault.
police.
Not at all. Because they were
Mhm.
doing their jobs. That's what they're supposed to do.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
authorities
You
claim
said
that, that there was no contact between the police car and the scooter,
Mhm.
while community leaders call for a cultural change within the force. So broader tension, the event highlights deep-seated issues over immigration and integration in Switzerland, becoming a flashpoint in the national debate. So this is something that they have been dealing with. And frankly
Yeah.
speaking, if care is not taken, it's going to come here in Canada. I can guarantee
Mm.
you that if it
Mm.
continues this way, because these young people, the impetus of just doing things and think they can get away with it is just coming to the point where, we need to open our eyes and maybe begin to change laws that will affect them. If you are 15 years old and older and act or do criminal act where you're supposed to, that older people are, you ought to be charged as an adult. You
Charge
cannot
us an
carry
adult.
on.
All
Yes,
right.
I think
carry gun or kill
I
somebody.
think yes.
Good.
I
Okay.
think it's part of
Mhm.
the law now in the US. If you commit an adult crime, even if an infant, you'll be treated as an adult, or you'll be kept in jail until you become an adult, and then you'll be jailed as an
Mhm.
adult.
Adult. Okay.
That's what I
Thank you
think
very
they need
much.
to bring to
George,
Canada, honestly,
Mm.
speaking,
good one.
especially in Ontario, because people cannot even drive the expensive cars anymore because of the fear
Mm.
of being hijacked and taking your cars away. And
Can
then
you
because
imagine?
they're kids, and there are grown-ups that are sending these kids to do these things. Grown-ups are
In some
doing it.
cases.
So it's so
Okay.
sad.
It's sad. Gentlemen, thank you very much. George, you said that so well. During the week, there has been so much going around on social media, news, media homes about Trump's health. But Trump clapped back after the weekend of speculation about his health. But we saw some signs too. We took our time to go through some of what they say he's going through, and we don't know. But there's this gist that also, George. I know you're following the news. We're going to see a video clip that the studio has. There's the news of him might go through amputation. Gentlemen, let's talk about this. That's Trump there during the weekend, and he was signing some. So we know. Yeah, some executive order. We noticed the hand. That hand there had the black spot. His hands are swollen. His legs are swollen. And, media people are looking very close. George, do you have any story? Do you have anything?
Well, what we know is that there's been a lot of news about his, even for a couple of days, nobody knew what was happening with him and all that kind of stuff. You saw that, Trump always, he always paints his face. He paints his face. Even that one there that you see, I'm so surprised that they did not spray that color that they put on his face. There. It's supposed to have colored it, but you see that when he came out, he was hiding it. He would do things, will not show it openly. So that's I believe that he's not well. There are so many things happening, but the point is he is not the type of individual that would like those things to come out in the open. So some kind of way he's gonna be hiding them. But I personally wish him well. I wish him well. We don't want him to get sick. We want him to be in his right mind and make the right decisions, which most of the decisions are not affecting the world, positively. So maybe some of these things might help him to kind of calm down a little bit with the tariffs and all that kind of stuff, because the world is in such a chaotic condition because of those tariffs and everything. The court just recently found out that actually that some of the tariffs that he's doing is illegal, but because of the fear of Trump, they're going to leave it there until he goes to Supreme Court, where he knows he's going to be getting positive responses because he put all his people there. So, but we are praying for him to be well. We wish Trump well. I wish Trump well. So that's what it is.
All right, Reggie, do you have anything on that?
Yeah. No, Trump was my man. I wanted him to win the U.S. presidency so that he will inflict on the U.S.
So he can inflict pain on the U.S. people.
On the U.S. The way U.S. has been inflicting pain on third world countries. So he's doing it. But I wish him well. I wish him well so that he can complete the job of inflicting the pain maximally.
No, Trump has been my man from the very beginning. He just
let's studio is giving us 5 minutes more. Let's talk about Nasir El Rufai that alleged that the government is empowering bandits by paying them a monthly allowance. Raji, is that true? The government came and said that's not true. It's baseless. El Rufai, the one-time governor of Kaduna State, North Nigeria.
El Rufai is a dangerous rascal. He's a very dangerous person. Was it not El Rufai who was paying, who said himself that he was paying alien marauders? He was paying them to stop killing Nigerians. He said so in his first term, and the devastation he piled on the people of Southern Kaduna should even be enough for him to keep his mouth shut. That man is dangerous, and I don't even think that he's from Kaduna State. I don't even think that he's a bona fide Nigerian. If you are going to, you have to dig behind deep down, because the way he talks as if he is. No, I don't want to use any strong words on him, but this man should be shut up. But whatever means, if they have to be arrested and restricted, they should shut his mouth up by throwing him into jail the same way he was throwing people into jail in Kaduna.
Okay. But if there are things he knows, and like he said, he was sponsoring them, maybe he was doing that under the government's supervision, or probably government ordering him to do that. And now he's blowing up the lead. He's telling us the federal government have been empowering bandits by paying them monthly allowance.
It will have to be Buhari's government, not this government.
Okay.
Even though this government may be continuing, because Tinubu said he will continue where Buhari stopped. So maybe he's still doing what Buhari was doing.
Well, what we can see here is that El-Rufai is very desperate. Very, very desperate. He's a desperate man. And he will not, he will not relent for a minute to lie. And he's been found to be lying a lot. That's something that has been openly narrated in the news in a lot of things. He's a very desperate individual. But I thank God that the government forcefully denies the claims by former Kaduna, whatever you call him. Now, El-Rufai accused the government of the bandits policy and arguing it empowers criminals, and instead of eliminating them, the Office of the National Security Advisor called these allegations baseless, stating it never paid ransom and instead warned citizens against it. Now, you see, there are certain things we need to understand. There are times when agitators, the government might even just negotiate with them because of the disturbances that they're causing to appease them. Somebody like our guy that we have interviewed here, what's his name? Alhaji.
Sorry,
Dakubo.
Sorry, Dakubo.
He tells you, I mean, I'm being taken care of. I'm being paid. So I can, come
he doesn't have that.
He doesn't care. He says it. So, he was considered a terrorist individual organizing a terrorist group. This Igbo guy before, what's his name? That used to agitate a lot. He was being taken care of. Even Nnamdi Kanu was approached to be taken care of so that they can calm down, that the government can move seamlessly without any problems. There are some times that you might have to, just negotiate with some of these people and calm them down so things can move, especially when they're bringing forces that are disturbing and interrupting the smooth flow of the government operations. So sometimes it does happen. No, now I don't know about this one because, the man cannot be, El-Rufai cannot be trusted. One day he's here, another day he is there. Nothing he says can be trusted.
Yes, thank you, George. Viewers, we're discussing between the lines El-Rufai that said government has been empowering bandits, and he says there's a monthly allowance on them, but the government denies it, said that it's basically. But I'm saying that because we all know that El-Rufai was doing some back end thing, when he was governor. So probably he is now saying that this happened and he was the one, he was part of it. He was the one doing the supply. So, but government is saying, no, we didn't do this. So among them, somebody's lying. Somebody's lying and somebody's saying the truth.
Just a comment. There could be some truth in it too, because Boko Haram, the so-called repentant Boko Haram terrorists are being resettled and being paid on a monthly basis.
And giving wives.
Yes.
Giving wives. So can you imagine? And not just ordinary wives, virgins, virgin ladies there. All right, gentlemen, let's go. We've done it. Thank you very much, Raji, for coming between the lines today. First of the month of September. Thank you, George. George, help us look at Trump's health. Some people are speculating amputation. That wouldn't be nice. Papa can get
Trump will not allow himself to be amputated.
No, that would be crazy.
Oh no. I don't think it's gonna happen. We'll continue to pray for him for his health. We need him alive. We need Trump alive.
All right. Thank you so much, viewers. Until we come again on Wednesday, it's been Between the Lines, and we've done our thing. We look into issues in a more deeper way. We analyze them, and we make you decide how the news goes. So until we come again, have a beautiful week start, and happy new month. God bless you.
Yes.
Right.